Demonstrators shouted for President Bingu wa Mutharika to resign at recent protests in Malawi against fuel shortages, rising prices and eroding civil liberties. Among the protesters, a former vice president, Kassim Chilumpa.
Malawian now must stand up and be heard because this country is going downhill. This country is for all of us, and all of us have got a duty right now to stop this downslide.
The protests began peacefully, but they ended in violence with 18 people dead. Steve Matenge, Malawi's ambassador to the United States, calls the deaths regrettable, but he says they occurred separately from the demonstrations.
Looters, thieves, and other criminals, and started looting private property. They stole merchandise from a number of shops, damaged government property, they injured innocent people. At that point, the police naturally had to come in to maintain law and order.
U.S. officials take a different view. Patrick Fine is Vice President for Compact Implementation for the Millennium Challenge Corporation, the U.S. government agency that assists developing countries.
If you look at some of the actions that occurred last week, such as cutting the transmission to the radio stations, decreeing that the radio stations weren't permitted to cover the demonstrations, putting up roadblocks, and then reportedly the police using live ammunition on the demonstrators.
Ambassador Matenge disagrees.
We have quite a number, several private radio stations that operate freely, and most of them carry programs that are critical to the government and to the head of state himself. The government has never, ever closed down any one of those radio stations.
The MCC is designed to reward countries that protect human rights and practice the rule of law. Fine says Malawi's actions during the protests fell short of that.
The assessment of the U.S. government is that the actions of the Malawi government are inconsistent with their commitment to good governance.
Again, Ambassador Matenge.
Since 2004, Malawi has been making very remarkable, steady progress in achieving its national development agenda, which has been acknowledged by our development partners, including the United States.
And the ambassador says the U.S. grant is very important to his country.
The United States has been a very good friend of Malawi since 1964. This grant is very important. It will help us to rehabilitate our electricity infrastructure and also help us to reform our energy sector.
Malawi is one of the poorest nations in Africa and has been going through a severe fuel and energy shortage. The government has recently been embarked on a 5-year plan to improve current conditions. Mariama Diallo, VOA News.